All right, we're back with another episode of Fixing Your Kanban. I'm Ryan Ripley. This is Dan Vacanti and Todd Miller. Gentlemen, how are you?
Great.
All right, let's all seriously.
Fine. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. Very good.
Thank you. You're welcome. All right, so today's topic, kind of a silly little intro. Look, this whole series of shows, and we're going to keep these going for a while. Hopefully, we're dropping these about once a week. We're trying to answer your biggest questions about Kanban. We want to help you fix your practices. We want to help bring some of the history, some of the richness of Kanban forward. Some of that's been suppressed and buried. We're going to bring that out. ProKanban.org is a great place to look. We're a proud partner of ProKanban.org, so check them out. You can also check out the official, spelled correctly, the official Kanban guide. I want you to check that out because it is kind of it's that unifying document in the whole Kanban kind of ecosphere, right? It is the minimal but sufficient that we can all agree on, and then you can build from there. Check that out. Let us know what you think in the comments. Leave your questions in the comments. We want to know what's really keeping you up at night about Kanban. We can work with Dan, Todd, and myself to help out with that. So let us know. But today I actually had a question, Dan, and maybe Todd and I can share some experiences around this too. But what's up with the PK1, the ProKanban Level 1 assessment? That thing is tricky.
It's hard.
It's really hard.
It's a hard assessment.
Okay, I'm hesitant to say that it is hard. I think maybe some of the early versions were maybe a little bit trickier than they needed to be. But to me, the PK1 assessment is just like anything. I mean, it's just like any test you might take. If you take it seriously and you prepare for it, you'll show up and you do well. If you don't take it seriously, you won't do well. It's just like anything. But can we talk about the importance of it and why it exists? I mean, I'll tell you what. I'll just interview myself. I'm going to ask myself.
I'll tell you what, Dan. It actually was really impressive going through the PK1 assessment, and it reminded me. It kind of like I started thinking about my experience going through the Scrum certification journey, and it was kind of interesting because I actually started down the Scrum Alliance path. Right. And I was going down that path and I got the CSM and the CSPO. And what was interesting about the CSPO is there was no assessment to get it. You sit down, you pay someone money, you take a class, you get the certification. And with the CSM, it was almost the same. Like you have to take the class, you pay the money, and you take an insanely easy. I mean, it's trivial, like 65% or 68% was passing. I mean, you could basically get a D on the thing and call yourself a certified Scrum Master. It was very trivial. And that left a bad taste. It was like, well, wait a minute. If you can basically modulate your core temperature to stay somewhere around 98 degrees and manage to stay awake.
You can fog a mirror. Yeah.
Yeah. If you can fog a mirror, you're going to get a certification. And that bothered me. And it actually go ahead.
To be honest with you too, that was even later on, because when I went through the CSM and the CSPO, I just walked out with it.
Right.
I didn't even have to take a test that I could sleep through. So I guess where you're going with this, Ryan, is why the difference? Why make it a challenging assessment? Right? Is that where you're headed, Ryan?
Well, and it just kind of led Todd and I both on this path towards Scrum.org, where the assessments are challenging, they're meaningful, and I love that, Dan, you've carried that forward. And to Todd's question, what's your thinking behind that? Why have a meaningful assessment, not necessarily tied to a class?
Yeah, well, let's take a step back and go back to a comment that I made. I think it was in our very first video, just about how much I learned from joining the Scrum.org community. I mean, if you would have asked me, 10 years ago, hey, Dan, would you ever be involved in Scrum? I'm like, Scrum, whatever. And I remember having a conversation with Louis Philippe, who Louis Philippe just does not get enough credit. He's really the one who put the two communities, together. And he's like, Dan,
awesome dude.
Yeah.
Awesome dude too.
He's like, Dan, you should check out Scrum.org. I'm like, what? Are you smoking crack? What are you talking about? Scrum? So yeah, I come to Scrum.org and learn so much. And one of the things that I have to say I just loved was this idea of decoupling, certification from taking a class. That how important it is to have some independent way to validate your knowledge about a certain topic. It's not like, Ryan, as you were saying, you show up and you take a class and you pay some money, which is what it was in the Kanban community up until last year. You show up and pay some money, and you get certified. No, it's nice that you go and, like I said, have this independent way to validate your knowledge, and then on top of that, the test is actually, not trivial, right? I mean, that when you pass it, that you have done something meaningful.
Yeah, I think that's, there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of anti-certification people.
Yep.
Right. To me, it's clear, especially if you're getting into something that's challenging, right? Everything that we've said here, all three of us so far, is that you have to prepare for things. You have to prepare for the Scrum.org exams. You have to prepare for this, right? And so in preparation, you're further understanding and solidifying your knowledge of it, which then lends itself to you taking action in the workplace, right? Which is ultimately what the three of us want, right? We ultimately want these product development teams to be more successful. So to me, if a certification means people do that, I am all for them, right?
Yeah, we were talking before the video, Todd. And you were talking about, you were saying, hey, to pass a PK1, you got to go read some blog posts. You got to go read some books. You got to hopefully have applied this in the real world too. I mean, those are all good things.
Yes.
I don't know how anybody could argue about learning.
When you take the PK1, what was interesting to me about it was you really have to understand the concepts. It's not rote memorization. You need to understand how Little's law works, and you need to understand how service level expectations function. You need to understand what a cycle time scatter plot actually shows you and does not show you, and what are the predictive qualities of such data, and whether or not you can predict up. I mean, it's really, it's not just can you recite this equation? Can you recite this definition? And it reminds me of the PSM1 and a lot of the Scrum.org tests as well, that are globally recognized as really requiring you to have real knowledge about the topic. And that was really, it was nice to see in the Kanban community where I could, and actually I don't have to take a class, right? I can show up to ProKanban.org. I can purchase a course license, and I can go take the class. I can go take the test. And if I know my stuff, I'll pass it and I'll earn that certification. If I don't know my stuff, it might be time to inspect and adapt and either do the reading, as Dan, grab when will it be done, read the ProKanban guide at kanbanguides.org. Like do that work and then perhaps try again, but it's meaningful. And you actually have to know the concepts and not just it's not handed to you. And once you're done, and what I love about these kind of certs, you actually feel like you earned something.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what was most important to me was, as you were saying, if somebody shows up and they feel like they know this, why would I put them through the pain and waste their time of taking a class that maybe they don't need? Take the assessment, assess your knowledge. And if you pass, great. And if not, great. The other thing is that I suppose people should know is, while the class itself will absolutely help you pass the exam, the class is not designed, to just go through and say, hey, these are all the things that you need to pass the assessment. It's, our applying professional Kanban class is, okay, practically speaking, how do you do this? How do you do this stuff? Yes, will it help you pass the assessment? For sure, but we're not sitting there going through questions and saying, okay, on question 37, the answer is C. That's just not.
Yeah, I think it's really smart not to teach the assessment, and it's how Todd and I teach Scrum. It's how we teach these Kanban courses. We teach the concept so that you can learn how to answer the question, right? You are using your brain. If you want a taste of this, right? ProKanban.org does have an open assessment where you can go and check out. Now, these questions might be a little easier than what you're going to see on the real assessment. They might be a little different. They might be a little overlap, but this will, I think, give you a really good kind of idea of what we're after with these assessments, with the PK1, and might convince you to take that plunge and give it a shot.
And it's free.
It is free.
It's free.
Take it as many times as you want. Yeah. We'll make more.
Very cool. All right, Dan, we certainly appreciate you talking about the PK1. I think it's something that was sorely needed in the Kanban world, and hopefully more people take advantage of this opportunity to really demonstrate their knowledge and to earn a meaningful certification that has a very solid assessment behind it. We appreciate you talking through that with us, and can't wait for the next episode of Fixing Your Kanban. And so Agile for Humans is a very proud partner of ProKanban.org. We love bringing this Fixing Your Kanban knowledge to the forefront. If you have a question about Kanban, leave it in the comments. Let us know what your questions are, and we'll try to get Dan back to answer some of your, only the trickiest questions, though, because we're going to stump Dan at some point. But all right, probably not likely, but we're going to give it a shot. Check out videos below. We've linked these videos to help you with your Kanban and Agile knowledge. Check out the socials. Be sure to like and subscribe so that you know when we drop the next video and you don't miss out. But thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for sharing. And we will catch you next time on Fixing Your Kanban.